Hey everyone, welcome to the Kratom Gals. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. This is our weekly live stream, and the concept here is so simple. We're a group of real, everyday Kratom consumers who show up weekly to watch what's being said out there. You know, the headlines, the hearings, the viral clips, and we break it all down based on our own lived experience. There's no spin, no agenda, just honest conversation from people who use natural Kratom. Now, the thing is, people who use Kratom deserve to be part of this conversation. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We have like a roundtable, we're gathering to just have open and honest discussions. I'm Madeline Sklar, host of the Kratom Gals that we're doing today. The Kratom Stories podcast is still on hiatus, but it is coming back. And the Kratom Real Talk community over at school. I've been a daily Kratom consumer for 7 years now. I've used it every day for my pain, and it has genuinely changed my life. It helps me manage chronic pain in a way that nothing else ever did at this level. And I was in pain management for 9 years. This is still so much better for me. And that personal experience is the foundation of everything I do as a Kratom educator and advocate. That's why y'all see me all over the place. And just side note, one of the reasons why you see me all over the place is because I've been in digital marketing for 30 years. I've been teaching social media for 21 years. So I know how to do all this stuff. If you're here live, be sure to jump into the chat. We love hearing from you. Your voice matters in this conversation. And whether you're watching live or you're catching the replay at your convenience, if this kind of real, unfiltered talk resonates with you, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It's the single best way to help more people find us. So, quick but important note before we dive in, this live stream is for educational purposes only. We are not medical professionals here. Nothing shared should be taken as medical advice. And we are here simply to share our personal experiences and advocate for responsible legal access to Kratom. All right, let's bring up the gals and get into our conversation today. Hello, gals. How are y'all?
Hey.
Good. How are you?
Good to see
Thank
y'all.
you for having us.
Absolutely. Venus will just be in the live chat on YouTube because she is having technical difficulties, but she'll be hanging out in there. Saturday just rolls right back around again. It seems like we were just here, and there's always so many things that come up in the 7 days since we were together last. It feels like we're on a merry-go-round that never stops.
It's like Groundhog Day all over again.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Groundhog Day.
That's a good one. Groundhog Day.
They definitely didn't pick a good day for it to be repeating.
Yeah, it's a lot of hearings going on. I know they started back in January, but now we're at the end of April. Will these start wrapping up soon? I mean, this has been going on for quite a while.
Some of the states have already rested for the year. Others go longer. We have a calendar up on the website when each state legislative session ends. And I think we're all fighting along to get to the end.
Yeah, I definitely encourage people to go check out Robin's website. It's called Botanical Advocacy and Education. It's at botanicalae.org. It's one of several advocacy groups. Sign up and get on the email list for all of them. Look at their websites regularly. Stay educated and informed. It's incredibly important. I love supporting the work, Robin, you and your team are doing. Y'all are the OGs as far as Kratom grassroots advocacy. For those that don't know, you and your board members were part of the founding group of the American Kratom Association.
3 of the 5 are part of the original AKA, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so,
The other 2 have been around as long.
Yeah, and I love all the stuff y'all did back then, even though I wasn't a Kratom consumer yet, but I learned so much from the documentary A Leaf of Faith, and Susan Ash was on there, and then the whole DC March, and learning so much about, wow, before I discovered Kratom, y'all helped keep it legal federally when it was under attack, and if it wasn't for everybody's efforts back then, it would not have even been available, and I would have, I mean, I was seriously trying to find a drug dealer when I lost access to my pharmaceuticals and pain management because doctors just won't prescribe. If you unfortunately, like me, are a fast processor of opiates, even though I have the DNA test that proves it, I've done the pharmacokinetic test twice. I have 2 different companies that did it. My doctor had me do it a gazillion years ago. It shows that I've processed quickly, which means I have to be prescribed large amounts. And used to not be an issue, but since 2016, doctors just don't prescribe. And nobody thinks about, okay, what happens to us when they drop us, and no other doctor would take over. I really was like, I guess I got to go find a drug dealer and hope that what I'm buying is what I think I'm buying. I want to just buy the same Oxycontin and Percocets I took through my legitimate, pharmaceutical, what the prescription that the doctor wrote. I guess I got to go buy it illegally now, but there's all these fake drugs on the streets. You don't even know what you're getting. But what else are we supposed to do? What do they expect us to do?
Well, and it's not just the doctors not prescribing, it's also the pharmacies that are refusing to fill. That's an issue we faced for how long? And I'm sorry, since when does a pharmacist get to override a doctor? Yes, they have schooling. Yes, they've gone to college, all that. But the doctor's the one with the extreme knowledge, especially of us. And pharmacists are saying, no, I don't want to fill it. Excuse me?
It's gotten really bad. I mean, I watch online the stories now. When I was in pain management, pain management from 2010 to 2019. And in those 9 years, I had the early years, surprisingly, I had major issues with all the big box pharmacies. It was constant being told, we don't have it, we can't fill it, we don't know when we're going to get it, go to another pharmacy. I couldn't believe how many times this would happen on a Friday afternoon. And my pain management doctor was way on the other side of town. So I'm sitting here trying to find, this happened so many times, trying to find a pharmacy that will fill it because I'm out in the suburbs. I'm pretty far from the doctor and they're already gone for the day by this point. And pharmacies, they don't care. They don't care. It's not their problem. And it's so incredible frustrating what we go through, and people don't realize us suffering and pain, the things we deal with. And it was such an issue. But then my doctor finally got connected with a more specialty pharmacy, and it was a more smaller mom and pop type. And they're like the ones that don't judge you. They're great, but they're super busy filling opiates because a lot of other pain management doctors, at least here in Houston, started realizing that these are more, these types of pharmacies always have the meds, don't have issues like the big box. But they didn't last long because they started getting broken into all the time. And so some of them closed shop because, they might have 2 or 3 or 5 locations around town, but they can't compete with the big boxes. But if they keep getting broken into because people want to steal the opiates, they find out, oh, this place is known for this, and they're going to always have a lot. So this one pharmacy I loved so much. And they got broken into one too many times. And the people would get very creative how they would break in and wipe the whole thing out. But it was the one place where they wouldn't treat you bad just because you're filling a script on a piece of paper that's for opiates because you're suffering.
Right. Well, and it just amazes me listening to these ban hearings, the people that have attended the ban hearings, these legislators saying, well, they just need to go back to their doctor. Really? What doctor do you suggest I go to? Because if you got one, share.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
because
well,
what part we see?
Yeah, the doctors we see, what part of pharmaceutical resistant aren't you getting? They aren't working. I'm like, I too am like Madeline. I did the testing and everything. I process a lot of medication pretty quickly. I need a high amount of pain. My doctor told me I cannot prescribe you what you need for pain. And then having the resistance to so many medication and because you've either taken it for so long, it just doesn't work for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, so now what? Like, I've exhausted all of these options that they keep telling us that we can go back to. we can't go back to that. We can't go back to that because it does not work. That's why I'm here.
Not only that, you get someone like me who, the only thing pain medications have ever done for me is make me feel like I don't care that I'm in pain. They have never stopped my pain. They have never helped my pain. They leave me lightheaded, sick at my stomach, and I just don't care. I can't live like that. I have a family. I have a family. I have
between ibuprofen, Tylenol, pain meds. You're chasing one thing after the next just to try to stay not only on top of the pain, but ahead of the pain. And then what happens? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, you have a big ulcer in your stomach. Why? Because of all the pain medication and everything you're shoving down your throat to still try to get the relief that you need, but still can't because it's still not enough and it's not working for you. Yeah. Like people they're not putting that into consideration. Like, oh, there's meds out there, and because the doctors and give it to you, it's safe. No, it's not. It's not. It's not safe.
Look at there again. What's something we say all the time? Look at Tylenol, and that's why when I found Kratom, the first time I consumed Kratom, I thought this isn't real, and I was literally just sitting in my chair like, what happened? And my biggest fear and concern the entire time was, how long is this going to last? And will it happen again? Because those of us that have taken pain medications, those of us that have used street drugs, whatever the case may be, there was always that time when it didn't work the same anymore. And that was always my fear with Kratom, is I'm going to reach the point where it quits working. Is it going to be the third time, the 10th time? I'm on the millionth time, and it still works exactly the same way.
And your dose is still the same. You're not upping your dose. My dose has been the same for literally next month on the 5th. Like that's a couple of weeks away. Will be 9 years for me. 9 years.
Congrats.
And May 5th, nice. Cinco de Mayo. I was like, oh, that'll be a day I can easily remember. Yeah. And I'm like, a month and a day before my birthday, I can remember this. I'm like, okay. And like Robin, I remember taking my first dose. I literally stood at my kitchen counter. I had tapered off the Vicodin a couple of days before. So I had only taken a half of a Vicodin, that day before, and then nothing before bed. So, I didn't sleep very well. I was in pain, and I stood there. I'm like, all right, well, if this stuff is, so good, like everybody says, because I literally lurked in groups for like a year reading about it. And I'm going, this ain't true. This ain't true. And I stood there in my kitchen in excruciating pain, like, a good 9 pain level. And I took my dose, and I'm on the front, on the phone with my friend Melanie, who had introduced me to, a more reputable vendor that I had. The second time I tried Kratom after the first time I got really sick. So I had gone to a reputable vendor, and she kind of walked me through it all. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I just remember I just started sobbing. And I'm like, I have not felt this amazing. And I'm not talking like a head change. Like I'm talking, I was not 100% pain-free, but that was the most pain-free I have experienced in my entire adult life. And that was 9 years ago, and I'll be 48 next month or in June. So it's like 30 years, like I was in a lot of pain, and that was the most pain-free I had experienced. And I cried. And like Robin, I'm like, okay, is this going to be like, like the first time you take a pain pill? That helps a little bit more than like the 5th time or the 10th time, because your body gets used to it. And I was like, okay, like, oh, this isn't going to work, but it does. And, the big thing for me that I was told with people is, keep your journal and keep your body guessing. Keep a rotation going so you're not taking the exact same strain over and over and over again. And you keep your body guessing. I make all kinds of blends. I'm like, oh, I'll take this green with this red. Right. And like, however, whatever the mixture of that is before it got to me, and I'm like, I'm just like a little scientist over here with my herbs. And it's, 9 years later, same thing.
Amazing.
Same
if anybody's new, Have your ears perking up because this is helpful advice. Same kind of advice I got was same thing. Like,
Keep a
rotate
journal.
strains, you keep the journal, which I did from day one. People were talking about keeping a journal, do the rotation. I did all those things. I had never once had a tolerance issue with kratom. On my opiates for pain management, constant issues with tolerance. I had to constantly switch it. The doctor would have to switch up the meds, and I have to switch to a different one for a while. And once it stopped working, then we go back to the one that worked. Like, you have to just keep doing all these things.
Right.
Whereas with kratom, I've been taking the same 2 teaspoons every 6 hours for my pain for 7 years. It's incredible. And now greens are what works for me, but I'm rotating companies, vendors. So in the morning, and I've been doing this routine. I mean, I don't know if there's any scientific evidence that rotation makes, but I've heard from other people like you all, and it works personally for me. My morning dose will be Kratom Vendor A, one of their greens. And I'll buy multiple greens from the same vendors. And then my afternoon dose will be Kratom Company B. And it's like, I'll take one of their greens. And then
that's
my
how
evening,
I am. That's how I am. I rotate my vendors through the day and through the week. It's great.
It works great for me, and I've never had a tolerance. Now, not to say somebody else could follow that and it doesn't work on their maybe they have tolerance. We're all different. Our bodies are different. And the reminder I always tell people is a plant. This is not a pharmaceutical. There's a plant, and plants can
one size fits all.
Yes, exactly. It's not
plants change. I mean, a lot of the times, and we knew, the wet season, in Southeast Asia affects our plant, like compared to like the dry season where it's really sunny. And it's like, that definitely for me, I noticed the effects of the potency of which, I knew what type of batch we were getting, like through what time. I'm like, oh, this is from this type of the year. And, this time of the year, because I become accustomed to it. I mean, when I take something, I mean, like, I really I'll dig deep into it. I dig deep into everything, and even, and even prior where I had said, I had tapered off my medication. I did that under my doctor's care. I didn't just go and do it myself either. I said, look, my mom died from the pharmaceuticals, from the pain clinic, and I'm done. I'm done. I've found this. This is what I want to try. Can you safely taper me off? And we did. We safely tapered me off of pain medication. After the pain medication, because we did one at a time. We did the pain medication. Then it was the anxiety medication, the depression medication, and then my blood pressure medication was the very last one that I ultimately had come off of. And that, like my blood pressure medication, that I've been off of that now for a little over 8 years. But everything I did it all as a safe taper. So I mean, don't take your health into your own hands unless you're forced to, where some people are and they can't get that safe taper from their doctor.
It's amazing how many people have gotten off of so many pharmaceuticals, not just the pain meds, but so many others, and you being able to get off blood pressure medication. That's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the pain, if you're in pain, your blood pressure does rise.
Right.
So where I was in pain 24/7, I'm still in pain 24/7. But this is nothing compared to what it was. Like my pain is manageable. I mean, I had a little bit of a Crohn's flare this week, so thank God, I'm grateful for what I do have for my 7-0. Don't know what New Hampshire brings right now, but I'm just going to keep on trucking along through that. Yeah. Language keeps changing and everything is so confusing. And at this point, I don't trust anybody in legislation to know what's going on because no one is properly educated at all.
Your state is very confusing right now.
Oh, I mean, from when I went in for the hearing, what was that? Like right around Valentine's Day-ish, something like that. I went in for the first hearing, and then Dan just before Valentine's Day. That's right. And then we discussed it on the podcast. And then Dan and Sarah went in for this next one, and they went in, and it had changed. And then now again, the language has changed on it yet again. And, some fellow advocates out here spoke to the legislative, they were told, no, they're not going to ban 7-OH, but then reading it looks like it's going to be banned. And I'm just like, none of this makes sense. And, wondering where they were not for a ban. When I was there, they were not for a ban. They were talking about it being helpful in micro doses, and they wanted education on it for them. Like, why would we ban something that's helping? What happened from them wanting to know stuff to them interested in it to then a full ban?
Yeah, what's going on with that? I mean, it's just,
I don't know. I mean, I've got my guesses. I mean, I kind of feel like a similar situation went on down in Nashua when the United Way was donated some money to come and give their no votes. So it wouldn't surprise me if something along that end happened again, because that seems to be unfortunately happening right now. It is. Sadly. It is. And it's sad. It's sad.
The thing I keep hearing from advocates over and over that have gone to speak with legislators in their state that are trying to get Kratom banned, they said these legislators are not educated on this. They don't understand the difference between 7-OH and natural Kratom, and they just want to ban it all because they're just not understanding it. And I just don't get that.
They don't even truly understand Kratom.
Right. It's like, why aren't they being educated? Why aren't they being educated? There's all these lobbyists. I feel like us everyday Kratom consumers need to like figure out a way where we can get more involved, get more active, and find ways to get the education in front of these people, because they don't know anything and they're making decisions.
This is a perfect time for this because we've got midterms coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Start reaching out to all the candidates. Find out where they stand on natural plants. If they don't know, educate them. Then ask them again, where do you stand? Because if you stand against me, I'm not voting for you.
Right. And they want your vote.
Yeah. And I want I don't want to just a face-to-face. I also want them to document it in an email or a text. This is where I stand, because then I can go back and say, this is what you told me.
I personally like to sit down with them and ask if I can record. Hey, do you mind if I record this little interview or just have a little chat? I'd like to educate yourself, a little bit on this, and walk in with the proof, Right. I'm one person, and I don't want to take it all on myself, because no one person should have to, but I'm about ready to, because things aren't happening with things that need to be happening for education purposes. They're not getting in. And that saying, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I'm not saying that people are just wrong in what they're doing. I'm just saying that there's not enough people doing the right thing out there right now, and going that one step above and making, appointments with their legislative team, the senators, like, hey, let me sit down and talk. Like Venus was able to sit down and, talk with someone. And we need that right now, because they need our voices, because they hear it and they see it in these hearings, and they're sympathetic and they want to learn. And then boom, something happens when that session's over. And then something's been changing. So I want to know what's going on in New Hampshire, because right now, honestly, I don't feel like it's fair. And I feel like something shady is going on right now.
Well, and we have to start empowering ourselves as volunteers, as advocates. We don't have to have someone's permission. We don't have to have a script. We can simply walk in to our representative and say, I want to talk to you, and give them our story. That's all it takes. And if you need somebody to walk in there with you, hold your hand, let us know. Because I know everyone on this panel, and most of the folks in the audience, would say, if someone wants to go talk to their representative and is concerned or shy or has anxiety, any one of us would stand up and say, hey, I'm close, I'll go with you.
Yeah, and Gigi is saying,
if we are close, we can find somebody.
Yeah, Gigi says, so wait, you guys are all for 7-OH?
I'm glad you saw that, because I was going to address that as well.
Yeah. No. I think Venus addressed it perfectly right here. We support the consumers, not the industry. So.
And as BAE, we do not speak on 7-OH, but we do not agree with prohibition, be it for Kratom, be it for Kava, be it for CBD, THC, THC flower, anything.
Yeah, banning anything is not key. It's not key.
Yeah. Research,
The
yes.
regulation is what will any issue that's, first of all, it getting on the market that's been years now, and why wouldn't it stop sooner? And why did the shady
this has been on the
companies-
market for
Right.
almost 4 years that
Well,
that a
longer
lot of
than that.
people are aware of, but those who have been in the industry, work with vendors, we all know that it's been here way longer, and people ain't been honest where it's been.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally go around advocating for 7-OH, even though somebody keeps saying I do. I do not consume 7-OH. I consume natural
I
leaf
don't either.
kratom. I've used it every day for 7 years for my chronic pain. But I saw too many people that are utilizing 7-OH very responsibly for the chronic pain, because it's either that or the streets to get drugs, because they need to be able to not suffer in pain, which I understand very well in my situation. I've been living with debilitating chronic pain for 20 years. So I'm just tired of seeing people get demonized, just like how many of us got demonized for taking our pharmaceutical opiates for our chronic pain. I was never comfortable yelling from the rooftop, "Hey, I'm taking an Oxycontin for my chronic pain." We would get demonized on the spot.
Yeah, we were labeled junkies
And
back then.
We sure
and
were.
many even
Demonized for
kratom.
kratom.
Yes. Yep.
Yep, this
People
is all
need
the
to
same
think back
exact
and look
behavior
back.
that, same exact behavior that we all got for plain leaf. Then we
Yep.
all got it for mitt. And now
Yep.
those who do, like myself, I support 7 because it is an alkaloid that is found naturally in the kratom plant. Yes, it is extracted just like mitt extracts with food grade solvents. It is tested, lab quality, safe to consume, just like your Cheerios that you eat with their food grade solvents and everything else that you're consuming on a daily basis. So I support the proper thing is not a ban. That's what I support, not a ban.
Well,
'cause
it's
that's
weeding
prohibition.
out the bad actors, and believe me, there are
God,
plenty
yeah.
of them in the 7-O industry. I
Yep.
mean, just looking at
Terrible.
the names of some of these products, dopium and perks.
Yep.
It's like, here's the thing. Here's the question more people should be asking. How come that's been on shelves for years? Who allowed that at the state level or at the federal level in all forms of government and in the industry itself? Who's
Even in the industry
we're just the
level,
consumers.
exactly, right.
We're just the consumers of kratom, and some people both kratom and 7-OH. So that's not our responsibility, and that's not our problem and our issue. It's on the market. It's been on the market. Should it have been from the start? I should have been more things that happened first, but then people say the same thing about kratom. That's, for me personally, that's neither here or there. That's not my issue, and I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a legislator. I'm not the people that help shape policy and make decisions for their constituents. I'm a consumer who has educated herself, and I wish more people would educate themselves if they take kratom and or 7-OH. Too many times people are consuming kratom and or 7-OH. They don't even know what it is. They're not taking a moment. I am never going to put something in my body that I don't go find out exactly what it is before I do it. Even with kratom, I'm like, I did a bunch of research. I'm educating myself. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to. Yeah, I saw the kratom extract at the drugstore, at the convenience store, and I just guzzled the whole bottle. I didn't realize it said 9 servings for a little
like have
extract
some
bottle.
self-control, read the label, and be accountable. It's no different than your doctor giving you a 30-day supply of medication and expecting you to take it exactly like it's prescribed.
Correct.
Why can't I take a tablet that I can split into 4s or 8s or whatever? Why can't I take that? If that's how it's written, why can't I take that like that? Because people are addicts. Okay, well, we have prescription medication. We have drugs on the street. We have cigarettes. We have booze. We have that available in gas stations. Tylenol. All this stuff that is literally killing thousands of people every single, day. And not a soul is out there worried about their little 12-year-old, because I was 12 buying cigarettes. I was 12 buying alcohol in convenience stores and gas stations, and no one was batting an eye when I was doing that. No adults was out there going, look at these young girls smoking cigarettes. We should ban it. It was a regulation. It was a
Yeah.
regulation. It is
Mm-hmm.
about responsibility for oneself, because anybody can be an addict of anything. Too much water will kill you. Too much exercise, too much, studying. Like, there's so many things that people can get addicted to, but they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like, it's stronger than morphine. Well, maybe because it takes my pain better away from morphine, but let me tell you, it does not affect you cognitively like any sort of pharmaceutical medication will. And I think that is a huge, huge issue where people are like, it's stronger than morphine. Oh my God, these people are like messed up all the time. No, like, that's not it.
And that's the fear
and we don't
mongering
even
in it.
have our lobbyists and anybody saying this stuff. It's like, no, this is not, it has no effects on the body like a medication does. It does not do that. It may hit some of the same receptors and take away my pain better than anything else did, but I'm not inebriated like I would feel from one Vicodin or, a little bit of morphine, and then, feel like crap for the rest of the day because you're tired. You can't do anything. You can't drive anywhere. You have no life. You're stuck in bed. Like, I don't get it. People are so easily they don't want to believe everything they're hearing about right and left political sides. Why are we just believing what's being put out there? Like, oh, this is stronger than morphine. Stop and do your research.
Right.
Stop and do your research.
And then 1 minute is 40 times stronger, then it's 13 times stronger. And then I've seen some news reports that said 3 times stronger.
Always different every time you hear it. Right. But here's the thing. All we need is common sense regulations, right, that are enforced. If that was, the KCPA is supposed to do that, right? And
that's the key word right there.
Yes.
Enforced.
Here's the slap in the face. I live in Texas. A year ago, we were dealing with this potential ban of all kratom because of the 7-OH. But it's like a lot of us in Texas went, wait a minute. My state has a KCPA. How did we get here if we have a KCPA? Apparently KCPAs don't matter, because if the legislators want to ban something, they just bring it up and work to do it. And I was shocked. And even the senator that brought this ban bill for kratom in Texas said in his opening statement that he knows plain leaf kratom is fine. He goes, but we're just going to ban it all. And I'm thinking, why didn't they just enforce the KCPA? If they enforce the KCPA, then those 7-OH products wouldn't even be on the shelves.
Yeah, they'd be at their certain, percentage. If it has to be at that 2%, then do it. If this is what the problem is, if it's the high percentages or the location of where it's sold, then enforce the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. Make it so. And if people like these gas stations aren't going to follow suit, then sit there and do something to them. Don't punish like myself or anybody else who needs something that pharmaceuticals can't do, won't do, aren't able to do, whatever the case. Yeah. Or if they just want a healthier lifestyle, like, we should all be having freedom of choice, and we're not hurting anybody. We're not even hurting ourselves. I'm baffled. I'm baffled at society these days about how easily something is said, and it's like the game of telephone. One gets it, they go with it, and the misinformation is just, it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the time.
Definitely. And Extreme said it perfectly. KCPA now is just a piece of paper.
That
just
no
a piece of paper. And it's so funny, Angela, you're saying this. Angela says the lieutenant governor was on top of that ban. It was like his pet project. Our lieutenant governor in Texas was trying to get all CBD and hemp products off the market.
Texas was crazy.
Woo, it was a crazy
I was
time.
working hard from this end because I've got one of my old coworkers works in Texas. I was talking to Amanda Schumacher with Heavenly Herbal House, and her and her husband went down there, and they slayed it. Like, they were amazing. And like, in a matter, it was like less than 24 hours, I was able to get 8 people from I'm in New Hampshire. I was able to get 8 people to go to that hearing. People were flying in for that.
We were watching it.
And that wasn't even 24 hours. And I was like, I was so proud of Texas because I've got family there. I go to Texas, like my brother's there, my stepmom's there. Eventually, like, if I go somewhere and it's not at the beach, it'll be Texas because that's where family is, or California. But California's kind of gone to the wayside. But yeah, it's like, then again, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go to California either because look what they're doing. It's just,
man, I know.
It's just scary out there. Like,
it is scary.
This is why we can't have nice things because the truth is not out there. The ones who literally have the ability to speak the truth are not, and they're spewing out stuff that like really is just really a waste of advocacy time, because there's people that don't know how to write these letters. There's people that don't know where to go, even where, to even watch a Zoom or how to sign up for a Zoom. There's people that don't have the confidence to go alone. Where are these people to help these people? Because that's what we need. Because these people, these are what we mean by the numbers aren't there anymore. We don't have the numbers showing up. So if we don't have the numbers showing up, this is what we're needing for advocacy. I know I'm doing it. Robin's doing it. We're all doing it on our end to try to help anyone and everybody that help it. Yeah, BAE, everybody that is trying, even Heart and Seven Hope, whether you guys agree with them or not, like, they are trying to help the plant as a whole. They are helping Kratom as a whole. And people are like, oh, it's 7-0. Like I shared something in the chat, the other day. And oh man, because it said Seven Hope on it, I got chastised for it. I said, who cares where it came from? This is a ban bill that's going on. Did you read anything? Did you send in your emails? I don't care where it come from. This is some information that everybody should have. They didn't care to read it. I was like, wow. Wow.
Yeah. We're in a crazy time, that's for sure. Let's get to the videos, because I got a couple of news stories. And speaking of Texas and them not enforcing the KCPA, now the Attorney General is ready to enforce it. I find this just so interesting. It's like all of a sudden, so let me play. It's just a short news story out of Texas, but it's interesting.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is going after two California-based Kratom companies, accusing them of illegally selling products here in Texas. Now, the lawsuit targets Pure Leaf Kratom and Outcast Distribution, claiming their products contain extremely high levels of a powerful compound known as 7-OH, far above what state law allows. Investigators say some of those products tested between 86 and 96% 7-OH. That's nearly 50 times over the legal limit. Officials also allege the products included synthetic additives, which are banned under the Texas Kratom Consumer Health and Safety Protection Act. Paxton says this lawsuit is part of a broader push to crack down on illegal and potentially dangerous Kratom products being sold across Texas.
So interesting that now they're doing this. It's like, okay, good. I mean, this was on the books. It would have prevented them even trying to ban it last year. But what's interesting in that story is they said that they tested some of those products and it had way more than what it was packaged at. And that's what's scary.
Those levels are insane. And they wonder why people are having challenges, aside from not taking self-accountability and self-responsibility.
Whose job is to oversee that? Isn't it state regulators?
It should be FDA.
I mean, this is what I pretty much say every week. And it's like, my logical thinking is, okay, so if I want to go be a company and put a product out in the market, I can just call it Dopium or Perks, put something else in it, and just put it on the market, and it sells like crazy for a couple of years before anybody on the state level cares. I mean, that's what all this sounds like to me. Like, isn't it somebody's job to, like, if a product enters the market, they got to go check it out?
Yeah, you would think if something is going to go like on the shelves of, the gas stations or smoke shops, that, hey, this is what's going on our shelves. Doesn't have to be somewhat like registered. Like, this is what's going here. Like, don't they have to have like some sort of log stating what they sell?
You would think. I don't know how that stuff works, but
yeah. So why is that my fault? Like, don't take my plants.
Right. That's what I don't understand with this division right now. Is like, how is any of this stuff our fault? It's just, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't. And I don't, Twinkle and I, the ones, who take our nibbles of 7-0, we do not support the horrible names. We do not support it being sold in a gas station so it's easily accessible. If that's what the issue is, get rid of the easy accessible issues, it's like buying Sudafed these days. You have to show an ID for it. Well, okay, if you're going to a smoke shop or if you're buying cigarettes, you have to show an ID for it. Even if you're under the age, I don't know if it's 40 now or something like that, but it says right on the thing, under the age of 40, you have to be ID'd. I saw some lady, 52 years old, got ID'd the other night. And she was like, oh my God, well, don't you make an old lady feel good? So she's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm just doing my job. You clearly look of age, but I have to ID you. Why can't we have that and accountability? So if that's what it takes, smoke shops are 21 plus. You are not having a child go in there and purchase anything. You're not.
And if we would have gone straight for regulation, we could have established all that. There could have been a framework for it and rules to follow, and not letting anybody enter the marketplace without following those rules.
But I mean, if us consumers can think of that, why isn't the higher ups thinking of that?
Right. And they probably have. And these are all just excuses and stories and propaganda.
Because it's 7-0's fault.
It's 7-0's fault.
Just like it was Mitt's fault, but Mitt's fine because it's fine.
And anyway, with the potential ban on 7, those Mitt amounts are going to go higher.
The Mitt sales are going to go up, and we all know where that goes.
The sales and the amount in the product, because some people I've already seen it around, are anticipating people's 7 loss. So they're going to make stronger Mitt products in order to wean them from the 7, but that also makes their money cha-ching.
Yeah, that was on one of the things Madeline played last week. One of the clips Madeline played last week.
Oh, and I missed you guys. Yeah.
I was watching it before this, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad she played that, because I had seen that too, and that was a perfect video. That was perfect. Sitting there saying like it is. It's literally just the community.
And then it'll be the same
it's sad.
Thing. People abusing it or people taking it responsibly and doing what they're supposed to be doing to it. It's the same exact thing with 7. And if you don't want it, like, don't use it.
Yeah. And then it's like the plain leaf money is being taken. So plain leaf are getting mad. So it's like, that's why everybody's fighting,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's wearing. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. And it should have just been kept safe. And people and the education for people to know the differences of the 3, to me, was very important. Kratom is one thing, extracts are another thing, and 7 is a bit stronger, and it's only the isolated it's only for pain. So it wouldn't come with all the alkaloids or whatever, but we should have just let everybody know things like that, and then let them make it informed.
Yeah, and it's like they know that 7 has a ceiling effect. You can't take more. You can't take more to keep getting high or whatever it is that people are thinking. Like it's done. It don't work. It's like, this is it, and you're done. You're not going to get more. It's like what happens with Kratom. If you take too much Kratom, you're going to get what a lot of us call the wobbles, and you're going to either feel really crappy for about an hour, or you're going to throw up. And that's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah. And just a reminder for our viewers, we have panelists on here that are sharing their personal experience. It doesn't mean the other panelists here utilize 708.
Exactly. This is all our own experience. This isn't all science. Like, we aren't scientific doctors or nothing like that. This is my experience, their experience.
It's just interesting learning how people spin things, they, watching this.
It's like the newscast, stronger than morphine, and everybody thinks it's a high, everybody thinks people are getting high off of it because it's just bad.
Opioid. It has to be taken off the market.
Yeah, it's an I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in an email.
Yeah, it's a lot of craziness.
Opioids are pain relievers. Why would you want to take it off the market? You'd want to regulate it and keep it safe for everybody, because opioids, some people abuse, some people don't. Some people get the pain relief from them. Just because you do something wrong doesn't mean that other people have to lose that, and you don't have to go buy it. You don't have to go to your doctor and get those meds. You don't have to, like, you would say no thank you if you are against, for whatever might have happened to you or a family member or somebody else. You don't want it, don't use it. Just
I know, but it's like
say
you think
no.
everybody gets they panic, but it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, a simple Google search right now, is MIT and 7-OH being studied to be turned into a pharmaceutical? Everyone, take a moment,
Yeah.
go ahead, Google it up.
Yeah, I already
Because
have.
it is, it is, and I
I've
really
already-
need the community to go take a look and like start opening your eyes to what's really
Yes.
going on out there. What is the bigger picture?
And
This,
I've already
this
who's
is
gonna
what's
bid
going
that?
on. Like
Who's-
if
and
they
who's
want to
gonna-
take it, if they
and who-
take
That's
MIT
right.
and if they take, they could take they 7. It's like, well, the wording has to be kept a certain way, and it has to be kept under that percentage. Because if they take 7 completely and ban it, boom, kratom's gone because 7 naturally
Yeah.
occurs in it.
Yeah.
If they take MIT from kratom,
Why
well,
is
then you
nobody
have
thinking
it's
about
done.
this?
It's done. You have nothing left.
The whole
Because
thing's
you
gone.
have the 2 main alkaloids that are in the plant that they're
right.
about ready to take away from
Right.
you and turn
Yep.
into that pharmaceutical.
That's right.
It's
and I've
so
already compiled
frustrating.
so many research studies, and I've got a good list going. Eventually I'll put it out, but I try to, share one here or there, but people don't care. They're already set in their ways. They don't care. You can't do it.
By the way, Twinkle, you look so fancy today. I just want to point that out.
Oh, thank you. you.
You look like you're ready to
Braided
go.
my hair
You're
down.
like you're all like you're in your business attire and ready to like go to the
Thank
office.
you.
You look great.
Thank you.
So NBC News put out I found this like full episode of like one of theirs that I guess they had online, but they did like a whole kratom segment, which I was like, well, I hope they're going to show both sides, because when NBC News did a story on me last year, they showed both sides and kept it balanced. But this was just strictly like, let's talk to a doctor and hear a one-sided conversation about kratom. So watch this.
Are using an herbal substance. It's called kratom. It can cause an opioid-like effect. Calls to poison control centers, they are also increasing. What can you tell us about this and the potential dangers here?
Kratom is actually a natural substance that comes from a tree in Southeast Asia. But the problem is it has opioid-like substances, opioid-like effects on the brain, including addiction. And talking to addiction caretakers, addiction specialists, they're saying they're seeing more people with this type of situation. You can see the statistics there. It actually ended up going over 19 cases reported in 2010, and then if you accelerate to 2023, over 1,000 cases. This is a 6,000% increase in cases. On top of that, we're also seeing from 0 in 2010 or 2012 to up to over 150 cases of what we call serious illness, including death, serious disabilities that are going to last their lifetime. And so you want to be very careful with this. It's not being regulated as well as it should, and hopefully that will change so it can be found in a lot of different places.
Hold on. What? When I saw this part, I'm like, isn't that champagne? And somebody's putting a flower.
Yeah, that looks like champagne and like
the flower with like lavender or some kind of flower. It's like when I first saw this, I'm like, what does this have to do with kratom?
Champagne. I mean, apple cider. Like that is
that's champagne because
that is not kratom. Yeah, because I mean, on the table it looks like another glass of wine of some sort.
So always trust the media, everybody, because the media is so truthful. Let's talk about kratom, but show.
Yeah, and that little piece of whatever's in there, that's not a kratom plant. It's not purple.
No, that looks like some kind of flower or
it does, like a lavender or like lilac or something.
Yeah. Anyway, I had to stop right there. Let me keep going. This report's almost over.
Regulated as well as it should, and hopefully that will change so it can be found in a lot of different places and it can be bought essentially over the counter. You want to be careful. So what can you do with this? What are doctors' orders? Well, essentially, first and foremost, know that this is not going to treat medical conditions.
I call BS. It definitely treats multiple medical conditions I have. I'm sure all of y'all can attest to that as well.
Has health benefits across the board.
But doctor's orders, you cannot treat medical conditions with a plant.
Well, I've not had to take over 50,000 pharmaceuticals. It says different.
Exactly. I feel like having a chat with this guy. Doctor, it does treat many medical conditions that we suffer because your medical establishment won't take care of us.
I want to know, like all of these, see all these newscasts, right? And then we all know it's being studied to be turned into a pharmaceutical, however long it's going to be, when we see, next kratom, the next best thing, safest alternative.
I
and
knew
everybody's going to be like, I thought it was so bad.
That same
And
doctor,
they're going to be like,
yeah.
oh, the doctor prescribed it, so it's good. And we're all going to look, we're going to be like, really?
That doctor is going to be on TV going, I knew this was promising. I knew this would help people.
Yeah.
And I prescribe it daily.
Yep.
Like, yeah, stuff your pockets. All right, this is almost over.
It does have addictive qualities and has qualities that can make it harmful to your health. And so don't consume it. As basically as basic as I can get, Savannah.
Dr. John, once again.
Oh my gosh. I'm just
Dr. John should not have a medical license. I'm sorry.
Oh, where did they what I just have no more words for that one. Yeah, we're like an hour in. We've only played 2 videos, but I like when we have so much we want to talk about. And I know, Amanda, you're going to be leaving us.
Yeah, I'm about ready to hop off.
Which is all good, all good. You've added a lot to our discussion today while you were here with us. And we appreciate it.
I know I missed everybody last week, but much needed time.
Hey, we all need to have.
We all need it. Life has been life, and life has been heavy. Absolutely.
Advocacy is hard. It's a lot of work. And
it's very draining, especially when you hear when you're a very empathetic person and you've got people that you've been helping for the last almost decade. They're now terrified for their plant because places have banned it. They're terrified that they can't get their extract, whatever it is that they're using it for. To hear them cry, to listen to them terrified that they're going to lose their life, that takes a lot on someone. It's a lot, and these are relationships that I have with a lot of people in this community because I've been here for a decade. So it's a lot, and it's heavy. It's heavy. So yeah, I had to take a step back. Because it's just, sometimes we all just kind of need to take a breath and decompress. And that's what I've had to do the last couple of weeks, because life has been heavy for everybody the last couple of weeks. And these ban hearings after ban hearings, it's a lot.
Well, I'm going to play some of the Nevada Board of Pharmacy later. And oh my God, some of the things they were saying. Oof.
Oh, that one's terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah, well, you guys, good luck with that. I saw that one. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I know that was bad.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Amanda.
All right, I'll see everybody later. Bye.
Bye, Amanda.
Thanks for joining us. I got this great video. We all love Dan and Sarah at Mitrospect. They were our guests several weeks ago. They just went and got Kratom tattoos for their anniversary. Just so awesome. Dan they both make phenomenal videos to educate and advocate. And I love when these Kratom companies are heavily involved with that. They do that regularly. Happy Hippo. Oh my gosh. Happy Hippo has been putting great advocacy and education videos on their TikTok. You've got Christopher Organic Botanicals that's been doing a lot of these videos too. We need more Kratom vendors stepping up and doing this. We know it's a business, but man, help educate, help get people advocating. They're going to listen to you. So Dan put out this phenomenal video, 6.5 minutes long, but it's so good. So I'm going to play it for y'all, and then we will discuss. So let me bring it up.
I want to talk to you about something that nobody is talking about, something that should terrify you, regardless of which side of the political aisle you sit on. Over the past several years, these states have banned Kratom or are actively trying to. Alabama, Arkansas, Indiana, Tennessee, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Connecticut, Vermont, Wisconsin, Rhode Island. Now, quick, tell me the political pattern. You can't, because there isn't one. Deep red Alabama and deep blue Connecticut both chose full prohibition. Deep red Tennessee and deep blue Vermont both made possession a crime. Red Kansas and blue Massachusetts both trying to ban a leaf right now. And on the other side, the states that chose regulation over prohibition, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Texas, Oregon, Utah, 17 states that said we're going to set age limits, require lab testing, mandate labeling, cap synthetic concentrations, and let responsible adults keep their access. This is not a left versus right issue. It's not even authoritarian versus libertarian either, because when you look closer at these two lists, a pattern emerges that's even more revealing. The states that regulate, they're almost all politically competitive. Arizona, swing state. Georgia, swing state. Nevada, swing state. Virginia, competitive. Florida, competitive. Colorado, recently purple. Texas, trending purple. These are states where a 3-point swing can cost a legislator their seat. And the states that ban, almost all politically safe. Arkansas, safe red. Indiana, solidly red. Connecticut, safe blue. Vermont, safe blue. Tennessee, safe red. See the pattern? It's not about party, it's about accountability. In a competitive state, if you vote to criminalize 200,000 Kratom users, that's a voting block that can end your career. So you find the middle ground. You regulate. You pass a Consumer Protection Act. Not because you're a better person than the legislator in Alabama, but because the math of your political survival demands that you actually listen to your constituent. In a safe state where you're winning your district by 20 points and you've got a gerrymandered supermajority, you can vote on donor preference, headline fear, or ideology and face zero consequences. You don't need to listen to the 430 testimonies against a ban when you're getting reelected no matter what you do. And if you're worried the public might show up and make it harder to ignore them, you do what Kansas did and fold the ban into a conference committee bill in the final hours of the session so there's no public hearing. You do what Kentucky did, buried in a 380-page omnibus tax bill that nobody reads. You do what Connecticut did, hold a press conference on Monday and make it a felony on Wednesday. These aren't sloppy legislators who forgot to hold hearings. These are politicians who know what the public will say, and they've structured the process to make sure that the public never gets to say it. Kansas proved it. They had an amendment on the table that would have targeted only synthetic 708. It was rejected 7-32. 32 legislators voted against solving the problem because solving the actual problem wasn't the goal. And they could do it because they're safe. Nobody's voting them out over this. Connecticut proved it. 430 testimonies against the ban, 33 in favor. They pass it anyways because those legislators don't believe those 430 people will show up on election day over this single issue, and they're probably right. Now look at New Hampshire, purple state, live free or die, tattooed into the political culture. Legislators who face competitive race, a state where your representatives might literally be your neighbor because the districts are that small. Sarah and I testified there, and the committee didn't ban Kratom. They made the distinction between natural leaf and synthetic. They preserved research access. They kept possession legal for consumers. Not because New Hampshire legislators are smarter than Tennessee legislators, because New Hampshire legislators know that their voters are paying attention. And Rhode Island, the first state in American history to reverse a full Kratom ban, they banned it in 2017. By April 2026, they have a full Kratom Consumer Protection Act. In a state of 1.1 million people where your legislator is your neighbor, advocates organized, built relationships, showed up for years, and flipped the ban into regulation. It can be done, but it took people showing up, not once, for years. And that's the lesson. The legislators who ban Kratom aren't evil. They're just not afraid of you. They don't believe this issue will cost them their seat. And as long as that's true, they'll keep voting for prohibition every time a grieving parent testifies and a news camera rolls. You want to know what the gun lobby figured out 50 years ago? What the anti-abortion movement figured out? What every successful single-issue advocacy movement in American history has figured out? It's not about convincing legislators you're right. It's about making them believe that you will vote on this issue and this issue alone, and that the cost of the wrong vote is higher than the benefit of the donor's check. That you will remember on election day. The NRA doesn't win because they have the best arguments. They win because every legislator in America knows with absolute certainty that a vote against the Second Amendment will be on a mailer in their district 6 months later. That's power. And right now, the Kratom community doesn't have it. We have the numbers, 15 million users. We have the arguments. The science is on our side. We have the public support. Every state that holds public testimony gets overwhelmingly anti-ban testimony. What we don't have is the organizational muscle to make legislators afraid of us. And until we do, safe seat legislators will keep banning Kratom because it's easy. It makes a good headline and nobody will punish them. So I don't care if you're red, blue, purple, or none of the above. If you believe that a free adult in a free country has the right to decide what they put in their own body, then this is your fight. Not because you use Kratom, because the principle being destroyed is the same principle that protects everything else you care about. If you're a conservative and you support the Second Amendment, the logic being used to ban Kratom is identical to the logic used to justify gun control. It's dangerous. People die. The government must act. If you're okay with banning a plant because someone might misuse it, you have zero argument when they come for your guns. If you're a progressive and you support cannabis legalization or bodily autonomy, the framework being used to ban Kratom is the war on drugs playbook you've been fighting for decades. Criminalize possession, incarcerate use, override public testimony. If you're a libertarian, and I am, this is the purest case study in modern America of what happens when government decides it knows better than you do what you're allowed to do with your own body. Liberty is not a buffet. You don't get to pick which freedoms matter. Either adults have the right to make their own choices, all of them, or they don't. And right now, state by state, that right is being taken away. Not by one party, by both of them. Whenever a seat is safe enough, whenever the lobbyists write the check, whenever the media runs the story. Regulate everything, Educate everyone, ban nothing. And if your legislator won't listen, replace them with someone who will. It's not a threat, it's democracy. And it's the only thing they're actually afraid of. I'm Dan with Mitrospect. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that was so good.
Exceptional.
I love
Very
him
good.
so much.
They're so good with their videos. I'm so impressed with what they're doing to educate and to get this important information out. But that, when I saw that the other day, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely playing that.
That probably has to be one of the top 5 that he has ever done.
Yeah.
And it's something people need to hear. If you don't like what your legislator's doing, replace them.
Yeah. And like he's saying, this isn't a political thing. Even though some people are trying to make this a political thing. It's not. We're all trying to keep Kratom safe and legal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a crazy time right now.
It has nothing to do with individual party because, as he said, Kansas.
Well, don't forget, I've been called a libertarian. It's like,
I know.
That's
like
news
that's
to
an
me.
insult.
It's like, well, that's news to me. It's like, it's like, hello, did I miss something?
We have states that are solidly blue voting to ban Kratom. We have states that are solidly red voting to ban Kratom.
Oh, he said
it's so not a side. It's what's expedient for them. Yeah. And you have to speak with your vote and let them know that you will speak with your vote.
Yeah, definitely.
Interview your legislators the same way you would your nanny.
Yes. Exactly. And while we're on the subject of a Kratom company doing a great education and advocacy video, the next one I'm going to play is also about 6.5 minutes long too. This one came out also this week from my friend Abram at Pure Infinity Botanicals. We've watched, some of his videos here. He is so great with educating and advocating for the Kratom community. His company is based over in Florida, and they had to do a lot last year to keep Kratom legal there. Florida, we watched some of that on the Kratom Gals, those hearings, and it was some crazy stuff going on there. But he has really made it his mission to help people in the Kratom community stay informed and how to advocate and how to, where to call, where to go. And so he made a really good video this week. I'm going to play for you all about what's going on in Tennessee. So let's watch this one.
What's going on, guys? Today's video is a very sad one, and I need your help. We are moments away from the state of Tennessee banning Kratom. The only opportunity that we have to protect it is to call the governor, Bill Lee. His phone number is 615-741-2001. Be respectful, but let them know that this bill will harm you. The reason for this is because in 2024, a person by the name of Matthew Davenport passed away. This is the name of the bill. It's called Matthew Davenport's Law. And the reason why I'm saying that this is a sad episode is because, number one, when talking about a deceased person, it's always sad to have a loss of life. Number two, there are hundreds of thousands of people in the state of Tennessee that rely on Kratom for various reasons that potentially stand to lose access because of an accident. And you might be wondering, did Kratom kill Matthew Davenport? I'm not going to make any claims about his character. I'm not going to drag the name of a dead man through the mud. I am only going to rely on the facts and information that we have available to us. So in front of me here is the toxicology report performed on Matthew Davenport when he was found deceased. On my phone here, I have Knox News, a news reporting cycle that, for once, miraculously, does not play into the fear-mongering and the rage bait that most news anchors fall into by classifying Kratom as gas station heroin. So let's get into it. In Mr. Davenport's blood, duloxetine was found, which is also known as Cymbalta. It's a depression medication. Diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl, very, very common over-the-counter medication. Buspirone, or Buspar, for anxiety, and mitragynine. The numbers that are listed in the toxicology report are represented in nanograms per milliliter. According to the Knoxville News, Matthew Davenport was found deceased in a halfway house, at which point they tried to resuscitate him, and I'm assuming they tried to administer Narcan with no effect. Unfortunately, he passed passed away. And these substances found in his blood that I have listed off to you are described by Knox News as being well beyond therapeutic levels. And I quote, the amount of buspirone registered at overdose levels. The amount of diphenhydramine was at levels considered lethal. So in those two substances alone, never mind the fact that there were a number of other substances found in his system, would be problematic. In addition to the...
I want to stop for just a second. So here's what I don't understand. So in Tennessee, the legislators don't understand that that was a lethal dose of Benadryl, and that's what
They're
had
not
to have
paying
killed.
attention to that.
I mean, we're all seeing this so easily. That was an insane amount of Benadryl. If anybody took that amount by itself, it would kill you.
And that's, I'm going to refer back to what Dan said. When they're not voting for you, vote against them.
Yeah.
Because every one of these legislators had this information. Every one of these legislators were told the facts, and they didn't care.
They don't care.
Like they're being paid off or something, or some agreement. Like there's something. There is
or for
something.
votes or the next
Scenes,
election, or
backroom deals.
Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Plus, the advocates that are there in person, walking around door to door. We've talked to one who said it's just they don't care. They're not listening. Like there's something going on. There's some deals being made behind the scenes. It's terrible.
Always is.
That's not how politics should be. But sadly, there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors that we don't know about, we'll never know about, where they're deciding how we get to live our lives.
Right.
And it's just ridiculous the amount. When I heard about that amount of Benadryl in the system recently, I'm like, oh.
And that amount of boost bar.
Yeah,
that's
right.
outlandish.
But it's so reminiscent of the death we've heard about labeled Kratom, that was a guy with a gunshot wound to the chest. How is that a Kratom death?
Or the guy that fell out of the window, broke his arm, was on 20-some different medications, but yet he refused medical care for a badly broken arm, was on 20-some medications, and yet Kratom is the cause of his death.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here? So I just don't understand this one with the Benadryl. That's an insane amount of Benadryl. And then they go a step further.
And they aren't voting to ban Benadryl.
Right. But this is when they go, Kratom and Benadryl kills. Don't combine those because it will kill you.
And this is all in the name of saving people from themselves. They have to save people. But here's the thing: nobody can save us but ourselves.
Right.
We have to do that. Other people can't. I mean, take it all away. That's still not going to do any good, because somebody who's going to want to overtake.
They'll go somewhere else. They'll get something else.
They're going to get something else.
They're going to take too many Tylenol, too many aspirin. They're going to drink water until they drown themselves.
Our country has not dealt. Yeah, our country has not dealt with the addiction issue that has plagued our country for decades and decades and decades. They have
not dealt with the mental health issues.
Right. So all of us with chronic pain get caught in the crossfire of this. Which is crazy, because
and then also
I have
called what they are.
And I have to say, I'm so very sorry to Michael Davenport's parents and family and friends. I am so sorry that you lost your person. No one should have to experience that. But don't make me lose my person because they can no longer take care of their pain.
That's right.
Right.
That's not fair either.
It's personal accountability. And the thing is, all grown adults, where are the supposed kids that have been harmed by Kratom? It's not happening. It's not happening. It doesn't happen. If there was an issue with that, things would have played out a lot differently. It's always grown adults. And as grown adults, we make our own decisions. Just like the grown adult right now that's driving behind the wheel somewhere in the U.S. that's about to kill somebody because they're drunk.
And he very well may have been failed by mental health, or
could have been.
I would never want to say family, because that's just not nice. But what I'm saying is there was other things going on, and Kratom, of all those substances, was also to blame, because sometimes you have to take that pain and put it somewhere, but you're putting it in the wrong spot. You're blaming the
spot.
wrong people.
Exactly.
Kratom is an easy
He
target.
very well may have been
Yes.
failed somewhere, and I hope he's free now, and I mean that with all my heart,
Of course.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Not trying to be, but it wasn't this.
But
It
you know,
wasn't
who's
this.
logical to go after? The Benadryl, the corporation that makes Benadryl,
Right.
or the
They
company
said,
that makes
uh-uh.
Kratom? Like
That's
Kratom is
right.
always the
Easier.
easy target every
the
single
easiest
time.
They're the
target.
low hanging
Yes.
fruit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're just trying to educate people so they get it and understand,
Mhm.
advocate more, or if they're not advocating,
Mhm.
like, you know, pick up the phone and make the call, send the emails. And I love how Abram in this video is telling people, here's the number to the governor to call in Tennessee. You know, we can
Well, and
do this.
something that people need to realize about Tennessee,
hmm
if he does not sign to veto, the bill will pass anyway.
Right. And that's something, you know,
If he doesn't sign it. So the only option is for him to actually veto. Not refuse to sign. He has
And
to veto that
right,
bill,
right.
that line item. And with the majority, could it get overturned? Yeah, but that's when you have to fight with and go into your legislators and tell them,
What's
look,
the
guys,
deadline?
re-election's coming.
What's the deadline for him to make his decision, the governor?
I think they have 10 days or 20 days. I don't have that, and I should. I apologize.
Yeah, it's just a real shame that you got legislators in Tennessee that did what they did. You got this governor who's not rushing to do anything. And yeah, they could just, I learned that with Texas, because when hemp was under attack last year, that was the big thing. This hemp bill got passed through the House and Senate here in Texas, that it would ban all forms of hemp. And it's all because big marijuana doesn't want hemp on the market, even though in Texas we don't have legal marijuana. But but the hemp products hurt the medical marijuana in Texas, even though it's very difficult to get. They finally just eased the restrictions to make it a little bit easier for people to get. But then everybody says, well, it's so expensive anyway, the hemp products are better. But what we all learned in that process, same thing. Okay, it's up to the governor. Is he going to veto? And it's like, and that's where I learned, like, oh, if he doesn't veto that hemp bill, if he just does nothing, then it automatically passes. I'm like, what? So he waited literally an hour before the deadline. The deadline was like midnight, some day. Of course, everybody's paying attention online, right? And I'm on Twitter going, what is he going to do? Because there is a hemp product I do like that helps me sleep, is CBN. And that, you know, all of this would be banned. So believe me, I stocked up when they had a sale, you know, just in case. But he waited till like an hour before the deadline, like 11 p.m. one night. I think it was a Sunday night. And he went ahead and vetoed that hemp law. But when I learned about that whole, they can just not veto, and it's just an audit. It's like their way of the governor going, well, I don't want to be in the middle of this. I'm just not going to do anything. It's like, well, you not doing something is an automatic, you know, approving of whatever the bill is.
And I don't think every state has that. I think it has to be part of their constitutional law for each state. But that is something I want to look into a little more. But you're right. This is the perfect way for a governor to say, I'm not touching this. Well, actually, yes, you are. You're still making a choice. And yet, Deb said their session ends today. So I think he has to sign by tonight.
Okay.
It's
not hopeful when nothing has happened and they're waiting for the deadline. So it's not a good sign at all. But it's appreciated all the consumers that have called, that have emailed, that have done the work to try to help. There's so many times where it doesn't matter what we do. Like, look at Connecticut. Connecticut to me is so mind-boggling that they made it a Schedule 1. They had that one Zoom where they basically had crazy number of hours where people could, you know, come on the Zoom, and there were so many Kratom consumers on the Zoom.
400 and some.
Crazy.
If I remember, there were 400 and some comments,
and
positive comments.
They didn't even care. It didn't even matter. And it's like, what? How is this a democracy where our voices? So that's where, like what you're saying, Robin, this is where you got vote people out. They have the power
And
because
let
they were
them
voted
know
in.
you will. Don't make it a threat. Make it a promise.
Right. Right. And you know,
Yeah.
Venus, I know Venus is in the live chat because she's having tech issues and is not on screen with us. But Venus, since I've known her over the years, whenever there's an opponent on anything local, state, whatever for her in Delaware, she's calling them up. She's telling them about Kratom. Like it's a powerful move because somebody that's running for office, they want that. They want to get that job, and they want voters. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, she said
your legislator is there to support you.
Yes, they're there on your behalf.
To be you in the legislature. So make them work for you.
Yeah.
Don't let them get by with doing what they want. You've got to make them work and do what you want.
Yeah, but Venus, I mean, let me put it back up. She said for Connecticut, it was over 400 people in support of Kratom.
That's what I thought.
And 33 people against. That says a lot right there. And how can you get so many people showing up and sharing and saying, please don't ban this. This helps me. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but 33 people are against. Like mine was already made up, and that's not doing what the people want.
But that's where you keep track of the numbers and you start reaching out to media.
Yes.
Yeah, you can also make friends with media personnel. Let them know what the truth is. Let them know what your story is. Make it personal and try to change hearts and minds that way as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's finish watching Abram on here. I just love all this advocacy work he does.
Kratom. Now, this is ruled as an accident, and I'm sure that it was, and it's a tragic loss of life. But we're looking at a multi-substance overdose case, and we are pointing a finger at Kratom. Never mind the fact that we did some math here in the office. The levels of mitragynine found in his system seem to be well below what would be currently flowing through my veins. We've lost somebody, and in dealing with loss, we found a finger to point at a substance that's currently adding value to many people's lives. Yet again, another case, mysterious case of loss, where the loved ones are trying to blame a plant and not the other substances and not the actions of their loved one. I'm not saying that there's any solution for this, but I certainly believe that the solution is not to ban Kratom. And I think the vast majority of you guys would agree with me. Even those of you who have left negative comments on our content before discussing the dangers of Kratom, which we very openly have discussed on this YouTube channel for about a year, are not relying on facts to draw your conclusions. What are the facts? We've mentioned it before. The FDA has done high-dose clinical trials on Kratom and showcased no harmful side effects. The University of Florida has been studying it for well over a decade. Those reports are easily accessible to you, a Google search away, for you to be able to form perhaps a more balanced opinion. I myself have been a Kratom consumer for 13 years, and I've watched it change and shape my community for the better. Are there a lot of bad actors in the space? Absolutely. Are there people who mistreat this plant? Absolutely. Are there people who use Kratom with the hopes that it'll solve all of their problems? Absolutely. And that's wrong. And we've talked about that for a very long time. But right now, guys, if you live in Tennessee, it's your chance to act before the governor signs this bill into law. He needs to veto this bill. His email is bill.lee@tn.gov. I'm going to say that again, bill.lee@tn.gov. Shoot him an email. 615-741-2001. That's his phone number. Call, use the dial by name directory, leave a voicemail with the aide, call the aide, talk to a real person, and let them know that this bill potentially upends the quality of your life. Guys, I've never minced my words. We sell Kratom. Our business is based around the ability to conduct commerce with Kratom. It's our bread and butter. It's something also that I feel very deeply about. I have consumed it for many years. And it's also something that I think can do good things in this world full of not so good things. I try to bring you information in an unbiased manner. I try to present the facts in a way that is respectful and allows you guys to use critical thinking and make your best judgments. And I also try to educate you about the risks. In previous videos, I've quit Kratom for 10 days to showcase the withdrawal. I've talked about how I regulate my consumption and how I try to treat this plant with respect, as I wish all of you would do, even if that doesn't benefit our business. The fact of the matter is that the business would do better if you guys voraciously consumed our products, but I would rather you consume them moderately and not daily, and have an industry to rely on and have this plant accessible to many for a longer period of time. And if that means you guys respect the plant and we do business over a slower period of time, then I'm happy for it. So please get up, act now, make the call, write the email, show up at the State House if you have to, but be respectful when you do so, because you're a representation of the consumer base of Kratom. Nobody needs to hear the screaming, cursing, or crying, or being disrespectful towards any elected official. It's time to be respectful. And Bill, Mr. Bill Lee, if you were watching this video, which would be a shock and surprise to me, please hear what we're saying here. I might be calling from Florida, but I promise you I speak on behalf of many of your constituents. Hear us, veto this bill, and push for the reform that you guys intended for to begin with, which was banning 7-OH. Take that off the table, sure, or find meaningful regulations to allow people to continue to consume those products, but responsibly. As always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in on this video. We're putting the contact information of Bill Lee down below in the description of this video. As always, if you got a comment or something to say, we welcome it, if it's positive or negative.
He's such a good guy. I just love that guy. He is so helpful, and he just wants to help educate. That's all it is. He just wants to help educate, even though it's a Kratom manufacturer, and like he says, I find it so commendable when you got business person saying, yeah, this can hurt our bottom line. This can hurt our business. But what's most important is, like, we're here to help, and we want to educate and help everybody advocate for this plant. And, we all need to work together to do this. It's such a great message.
And we need, like you said, every vendor needs
everybody. Yeah.
If you're making a dime off Kratom, you need to be invested.
Absolutely.
In protecting
Absolutely. It. Yeah, we sure do. I'm going to play a couple of these. I'm going to play these 2 YouTube shorts back to back because they're both 2 minutes each, but it's from this podcast called Get a Grip, the Get a Grip podcast. And it's kind of wacky what this guy says about Kratom and 7-OH. So we're just going to watch it, and then I'm just going to let him go one into the other, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll move into the wrap up with Nevada Board of Pharmacy. So y'all gonna find this one interesting.
In the time that I was in jail, they had come out with a new product called 7-OH. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I've heard of it, but
it's the same thing as Kratom. So they derived the Kratom powder. They basically did what from heroin to fentanyl, but they did it with Kratom to 7-OH. So Kratom is like the lower natural form. They synthesized it in a lab, made it 10 times stronger, and basically if you put it next to morphine, it's pretty on a level. If you use enough of it, it's fucking right there, man. It is a pain pill that was sold legally, dude. And if you smoke weed on top of that, you're to the moon. I'm not exaggerating. All in all, I totaled $30,000 in credit card debt on 7-OH. I was upwards towards at my height, I was spending $700 a week on the pills. That's where I said the financial problems were coming down. Yeah. I had a tolerance from the powder, so when I jumped into the pills, it was already like I had to spend at least at least 40 to get high, and I needed to get high twice a day.
What the fuck?
And then you got to add also the marijuana that I had.
See, there's a problem right there.
It's already.
I need to
all
get
he's
high.
doing is getting high.
Yeah.
I need to get high. And if it wasn't this on the market, what would it be? It would be something else.
Well, like, and what gets me is he's talking about having just come out of prison and he's doing this.
Yeah.
And he has credit cards already.
That's crazy. If they were even here then, if they weren't already
how many?
I mean,
yeah, how much of your story is real and how much is it for clicks?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Aside from the fact that you're admitting that you simply wanted to get high. You weren't looking for benefit.
That's right.
And yeah, I mean, that's a big part of this whole thing is the addiction issues, because people can't control themselves. And look, I'm not here to judge anybody that's had addiction, has addiction issues, but that's what's messing things up for me as a responsible user of before opiates for my chronic pain through pharmaceuticals, and now with natural leaf kratom. But it got taken away, the pharmaceuticals, because of the addiction issues that nobody will address and fix. And so many of us were caught in that crazy number of people, and a lot of people,
because we're addicts too, they claim,
it's
even
like,
though we took it as
it's like
prescribed and they were gobbling them.
yeah,
We're them, and so therefore we all, I mean, I'm so sick of it. It's so wearing, decades of it.
it's a
just
slap
so
in the
wearing.
face, because I
It
never abused my opiates. I never overused them. I don't have, if it's an addiction gene or whatever, I don't have it. I don't have it with any substance. Okay. I don't get addicted to things. That's not my fault, but I'm paying the price for this war on drugs because of the addiction issue. And now, I mean, look what the guy behind Prop, Kolodny, we've showcased that here, what Doctor-Patient Forum put together. Bev Scheckman did an incredible expose of now he's jumping into the Kratom arena because it's all about him making money. First, he was that whole, what was it, Props, Physicians Against Opioid
prescribing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Prescribing.
So he was behind the whole thing, getting opiates out of our hands. Our legitimate chronic pain patients that were getting great benefit or some benefit from it consistently without addiction, without issues. And now he's trying to, so when you hear a guy like this say, he wants to get high. If it's not Kratom, if it's not 7-OH, it will be something else. It'll be whatever he can buy at the store.
Suboxone. Even if he went on to Suboxone, he'd abuse that too until he tried to get better.
It's going to be whatever's at the gas station or drugstore, because those stores are never going to stop selling these types of products. There will be something else. Well, I have a video of what's coming and what's out there already. That's crazy, a crazy synthetic product. There will always be something, because there's greed. It's greed, it's money. And, until whoever's in charge, which I think are, again, I think it's state regulators, whoever's in charge of products being allowed on or off the market, stop letting these products be on the market that shouldn't be on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line.
Or put them on the market with restrictions and regulations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let me get back to, I had to stop when he's like, I want to get high. Here we go.
Yeah.
Add on top of it, because if I didn't have marijuana on top of it, it wouldn't get me high enough.
Right.
So I had to have the marijuana on top of it, which isn't super expensive, but I still added on top of it. For the longest time, that's what happened. That was my rhythm. I just did Kratom and smoked weed. I would go to work high. I would do everything literally high, because it checked off every marker. Nobody would be able to tell unless I was sitting down. If I was up moving around, which my job entailed that, it was a lumber yard. It gave me energy. Right. So I was moving around. I'm the greatest employee ever. Everybody loves me because I'm a hardworking, motivated dude. But really, I'm working these 12-hour shifts because I'm using Kratom and I'm getting through it with Kratom. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. Powder becomes not enough. Move to the pills. And it goes from $200 a week to $300 a week to $400 a week to the worst is $700 a week for at least a month. But at my height, the withdrawal on the pills was the exact same withdrawal as the powder, but just times it by 2 or 3. It was way worse, way more debilitating. The Kratom powder, I could go to work and just try to muscle through it, just sucked. You know what I mean? But the Kratom pills, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of bed. So I could never get over a day. I couldn't get over 12 hours clean for the longest time, just going back and forth, telling my wife I'm going to stay clean. If you take enough of it, like I take a lot, because I was taking a lot. I was taking 30 grams a day or 60 grams a day total at my height with the powder. 60 grams a day, 2 times a day, sometimes 3. It would be 60 to 90, actually. I would take 1 in the morning, 30 gram. And then when I get home,
60 grams a day.
Wow.
Normal.
He says sometimes 90. I mean, that's
first off, my first question is, how did he ever even go to the bathroom?
That's addiction.
That's beyond addiction.
And
that's self-destruction.
And that's him talking about powder. He's going to say more about 7-OH. I mean, here we go.
Dose, like for somebody that doesn't take any, it's like 1 to 2 grams, bro.
30.
Yeah. It's a lot of powder. I mean, it's like that much powder, bro. It's a shitload of powder. So I'd mix with chocolate milk. That was always the best thing I found. I'd mix it with chocolate. I would take a swig of the Kratom, take a swig of chocolate milk, and it would wash away the flavor. So I find this stuff. I think it's a miracle drug. I didn't know anything about withdrawal off of it or anything.
Yeah.
At this time, this is where I say my story
looks
isn't
like
so
he's
severe. I've
using
never
right now.
experienced a withdrawal. I've touched every type of drug, but I feel like because I've used something, I still have not felt any type of withdrawal, or I haven't maybe used enough of it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just physical withdrawal. Physical. I don't know about mental. I couldn't tell you, but physical withdrawal, I've not really felt uncomfortable. I'm taking this stuff, and I'm taking it 10 months for 10 months straight. Every single day. I do not miss a day for 10 months straight, every single day. But the reason why I thought it was a miracle drug was because kill my alcohol craving. I never drank again. I still don't drink. You know what I'm saying? So like it just made alcohol not fun anymore. So I was like, wow, that's great. It made me energetic because opiates always gave me energy. Which is, if you've ever heard that, I'm sure you have. Yeah. I used to love to clean and, you know what I'm saying? I love to go to work. Go to work. I love it. Get high at work. It's just smooth, you know what I mean? Whatever. So it gave me energy to go to work. It did everything that heroin would do without being heroin. You know, I could go to the gym on it. Like it wouldn't affect me so much that like, if I sat, so this is how it is. If you sit down, you're not out. If you stand up, you're energetic, just like any type of, you know what I mean, opiate can be. So that's why I crossed off all my, my markers that I wanted. I want to be able to go to the gym. I can get it at any corner store. I can use a credit card to get it. You know, I don't even have to have money at the time.
There you go. That's honestly, Kratom and all these bans and trying to be under attack is because of people like that. Abusing Kratom, abusing 7-OH. Before 7-OH, he would have been on a podcast like that talking about his addiction to the Kratom extracts. And let me tell y'all, those that haven't watched the Kratom Gals for long, when we started this 2.5 years ago, the number of videos I'm playing about the 7-OH stuff in the news, it was Kratom extracts. Every video it was all about Kratom extracts. They're addictive. That's the problem. Blah, blah, blah. They're in the gas stations. They're in the convenience stores. It just changed from the media stories to be about extracts to being about 7-OH. But it's because of the addiction issue.
And before you started your podcast, it was Kratom itself. Yeah. It was the bad. Yeah. It was.
Well, they love natural powder Kratom because they all think Kratom is Kratom, and it's not.
Right.
But the extracts were giving natural Kratom a bad name, just like now 7-OH is giving extracts and natural Kratom a bad name. So it's just, frustrating, seeing videos like that. But yeah, total junkie for sure, Tracy. It's yeah, Angela, you've been watching our live stream over the years. Yeah, it was always extracts. Kratom was in the news all the time because of extracts. So anyway, you're not muted, Twinkle. So we heard all that. Okay. I wanted to play. We're going to do the Nevada. I wanted to play a little bit of that one video with that new product. I think we'll do Nevada first. And there was that funny guy. I don't know what his real name is, but he has this video that Meta, now his YouTube channel is called Very Niche Meta. He makes videos taking drugs, and I guess he must keep losing accounts, and he gets crazy numbers of subscribers and views. But this apparently is a new one because one that means subscribers. But he's showing the next thing you can go buy at the convenience store, and this is what's replacing 7-0 now. Pretty scary, but it's almost 12 minutes long. But let me do the Nevada Board of Pharmacy. Venus is so awesome at always sending me the clips, like the different timestamps, so I can find the best ones to play. And I've got several that we're going to watch. So let me go ahead and cue this up, and then we'll just see how our time is afterwards. We won't have time to play that, guys. We'll play part of it because y'all need to see this new product that's out. And if I understand right, I think Venus had said, Venus, I know you're in the live chat. I think you said you and Chris were able to get that at the Champ Show, the particular one that this guy spotlights in his video. So we're watched several clips from Nevada's Board of Pharmacy that happened. I think it was last week. I was hearing all about it because, boy, advocates have been talking about this since it happened. And so I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but I watched some of it. Let me cue it up. It's sometimes hard to cue these up when this is like a 4.5 hour live stream from this hearing. I'm just trying to get to the part with Kratom. I think I got it.
And
all
everybody gets something soft to throw. You're going to want
it. Well, I'm just going to start with kind of the intro stuff, and we just don't have time for a whole lot, but I'm going to play some of the intro and then some of the crazy things these board members say, and then their vote at the end. But let's catch how they start off.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning. I'm so sorry I'm double booked, though. As you can see, I'm on Zoom. As a member of the Substance Use Response Working Group, I'm here to share that the group is advancing a recommendation in support of scheduling Kratom as a Schedule I substance. While the recommendation will still go through the formal voting and prioritization process of the surge ahead of its next annual report, at this moment in time, this reflects the current direction and action of the group. And I just wanted to ensure that we were sharing that with the Board of Pharmacy as a partner and provide this opportunity to consider alignment as this moves forward.
Thanks, Shayla. We appreciate your work, and we work on many different things and appreciate working to you to protect the public of Nevada. So thank you so much for your time today. With that, we'll go ahead and go to Darla Zarley. She's a pharmacist with the Board of Pharmacy, and she's going to present the data behind this regulation.
Thank you, Dave and Dr. Holmes, and good morning, President Park and members of the board. This workshop item can be found on page 5252 of your board book. This proposed draft regulation is to schedule mitragynine, 7-hydroxymitragynine, and mitragynine pseudoindoxyl in Schedule I, which are all alkaloids of the kratom plant. Kratom products are derived from the leaves of Mitragyna speciosa tree native to Southeast Asia. Kratom is often marketed as a dietary supplement, mood enhancer, or pain reliever, and is available to purchase in gas stations, smoke shops, and from online retailers.
I'm going to stop right here because, it's the usual spiel we always hear at these things. And let me jump ahead. I'm just going to move around to a couple of different spots because it's just not enough time to go through all this. But I will have later in the YouTube, we're all watching here on my YouTube channel, Kratom Real Talk YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will, a little later this afternoon, I'll put in the links to any videos we've watched today. I always put the links in later because I know some people are going to want to watch more of this, and there's a lot of it. Just for reference, that starting point I had us on was at the 4-minute, 52-second mark. This goes for a while. It's an hour and a half long. I'm only playing several clips within it, but it ends at 1 hour and 31. So, and like I said, this is a 4-hour and 24-minute. That is like, I guess, the hearing for the entire day for the Board of Pharmacy. So here's the next part.
Okay, Dave Weiss, for the record, I'll just do a quick overview of the regulation itself and make it clear what we're attempting to do with this regulation, realizing that the board would have to pass it and they can make modifications to it. It really starts on page 5252. To be very clear, what's written here.
Do you want me to play it at like a 1.25 speed? They do talk slow, and that's what Venus is saying in the comments. Yeah, I'll bump it up to 1.25.
Yeah.
If it's too much, 1.25 is just a little better. It's not too fast, but
for your consideration is really two things. It is the natural leaf that's listed on 5256, and then the board staff has made an attempt to deal with the alkaloids that we know of, and like Dr. Knight pointed out, there's 2 more. By the time we did this, she said there's 2 more that we should consider. So I think if the board does move forward and want to deal with the alkaloids, I would just ask that you give us the ability to try to you point us in the direction, and we'll do that language with the help of LCB. So with that, Madam President, that's the reg. You can look at it. There's a lot of public comment that's been sent to you electronically and in paper here today. And then if we do receive more written comment today, we will add that to the record and get that to the board members. So with that, Madam President, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Wiest. So I know that there are a lot of individuals that have come in today to speak on this item, and the board certainly welcomes public comment. What I'd like to do to organize the public comment for today is that I'd like to hear from those who are opposed to scheduling, and each individual, to allow a maximum amount of individuals, will be allowed 2 minutes per person, and we ask that you respectfully stay within those limits, and we'll have a timer going as well, up to a maximum of 30 minutes. So we'll start 2 minutes per person, maximum 30 minutes for those who are against the scheduling or the regulation. And then after that, we'll turn to those who are in favor of regulating. Again, 2 minutes maximum per person, maximum 30 minutes, just so we can keep the meeting going and complete the rest of our agenda. But we are very interested in hearing from you. And if by chance you don't have an opportunity to speak today, we are still accepting written comments, and then they'll.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next part. I wanted y'all to hear that because, you know, any of these different hearings around the country, they all have their own set of rules. They can change it at any time. And it's just interesting to hear what the parameters are they gave for this, like how much time they're going to give people, and they have a cutoff time. So obviously not everybody that wants to speak is going to get to, but that I like how she said at the end, we're still taking written comments. So regardless, but I know how frustrating it is, like those that are there in person and don't get the chance to speak. We heard a lot of that happening in Tennessee, or people on the Zoom calls, and they don't, you know, they run out of time. Some states, and it depends again on so many different things, how they structure, how they do things. But sometimes we're going to let everybody that wants to speak. And there are times where it's like, no, we're going to just do a cutoff. So let me we're going to hear the testimony from Dr. Jack Henningfield, Kratom researcher.
We have 15 seconds left, so you can make your close your remarks. Okay?
Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Jack Henningfield from Baltimore, Maryland, adjunct professor at Johns Hopkins Medical School. I've been since 1978. I formerly headed clinical pharmacology and abuse potential at NIDA, National Institute on Drug Abuse. And with Pinney Associates, I developed medicines. I've been studying addictive drugs and doing abuse potential studies since the Controlled Substances Act went into force in 1971. I started working on Kratom for our clients that were developing products in 2013, and I've done my own Kratom-funded Kratom studies, animal respiratory surveys, clinical, so forth. Some of my studies are with colleagues at Hopkins, University of Florida, and elsewhere. I submitted materials, including a Kratom 8-factor analysis. I have been doing 8-factor analyses since that was part of my job at NIDA, and I continue to do it and routinely for pharmaceutical sponsors. Those are the very high standards. A book that I just published addresses all the issues that have already been mentioned today. I give you the first chapter of the book, and it covers 7-hydroxy and some of the other issues. A couple of points were made this morning. First, I completely support scheduling pseudodoxil and 7-OH. I'm in full alignment with the FDA on that, which didn't mention pseudodoxil, but my 8-factor analysis of 7-OH that I circulated to you electronically includes FDA's own documents, and I agree with their analysis. My analysis was much more expensive. A couple of quick comments that came up today. Pseudodoxil and 7-OH are not kratom alkaloids in the natural plant. They're synthetic derivatives. And if it's in the substance, in the product, it was added. You have a law that says dangerous substances shouldn't be added. They should be scheduled. They meet all criteria for scheduled. Mitragynine does not. The animal self-administration, drug discrimination, human studies, FDA is launching a new study that will be done hopefully in a year. Their initial study was simply a safety study at very high doses in humans. Last thing, ask the medical examiner what the toxidrome is for kratom. It's not been well defined. You look at the medical examiner reports, they'll give you a blood level. There is no blood level that's accepted that is lethal. There is no toxidrome that has been established, because intoxication, which is on most reports, is not a cause of death. Anyway, I urge you to look at the data, look at the evidence. I'm in agreement with FDA, DEA, and NIDA, and the World Health Organization. Public health interest is served by kratom access consumers. But by that, I mean natural kratom derivatives, not products spiked with 7-hydroxy and other substances. Thank you. And I'm happy to give you any literature that you're looking for. If it's out there, it's probably in my library that has 1,100 articles at this point, 20 of them my own.
Thank you, Doctor.
For your comment.
I'm gonna stop here. So, and there are people, you know, that are for a ban and people that are against it. I'm gonna forward ahead now to where there's some interesting comments by the board. It was after, I mean, they did stop the testimony. They only did it for so long on both sides. And Venus told me in one of her emails that there was a big difference between how they were towards the people, you know, that support Kratom and people that are against it. And another thing she pointed out is how a person who was against Kratom was having technical difficulties, and that they let her take her time and get it resolved. And it's just, we see that from time to time where you see that different treatment of people based on, you know, them being for or against. And it's, you know, we don't have time to go through all that, but let's move over to where we hear from some of the board members.
Good morning. My name is Hillary Tesluk. I'm the former vice president and co-founder of Quitting Kratom Support.
Oh, wait, this is not a board member yet. So this is, I think, an addiction counselor and former addict or something. So, yeah.
And I'm currently the executive director for End Kratom Addiction. But I am not here today speaking as a founder or director. I'm here as a person in long-term recovery from both Kratom and 7-hydroxymetragynine. I'm here to represent the tens of thousands of people with stories just like mine who aren't able to be here today. I found Kratom in 2017. I was told it was a natural alternative for anxiety and pain. Initially, it worked. I stopped taking benzodiazepines, my social anxiety vanished, and I recommended it to everyone I knew. But the amount I needed for relief grew. My intake went from a few capsules to 100 capsules per day. Eventually, Kratom was all I was consuming. I began losing my hair and became clinically underweight. I lost so much strength that I could no longer stand in the shower. That's the reality of Kratom leaf. It's not a harmless tea, it's a substance that consumed my health until I was a shell of myself. I fought to get clean, but years later, I encountered 7-hydroxymetragynine. It was marketed as a refined product, convenient in single doses. Following a personal tragedy, I relapsed on 7-hydroxy. If you suffer from addiction, you know it's never just one, and that's especially true for 7-hydroxymetragynine. 7-0 was so potent that I couldn't see straight, maintain my balance, or follow conversations, and most concerningly, I often felt as though I had lost the basic reflex to breathe. I'm here to tell you that there is no safe form of these substances. Quitting Kratom Support helped thousands seeking help for Kratom leaf addiction before 7-0 ever hit the market. The leaf itself was already destroying lives. These new concentrates are simply accelerating the damage and forcing everyone to pay attention to what was already happening. I urge you to take action to protect Nevada citizens by removing free access to these drugs, and I'm clearly in support of regulation. Thank you.
Great, thank you for your comments.
Okay, we're going to go to the next one. So I've been told this is like the craziest of them all with the board members. So here we go.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said.
Let me put the closed captioning up because it's hard to understand this guy.
A very nice way of saying it, and I agree with it. I just a couple thoughts about what we saw today and what happened today. We had the people that came forward.
He talks a little faster too. I'm going to put it back at the 1 speed.
That use Kratom and swear by it, says it changed their lives. And 3 or 4 people said it changed their lives. It gave them their life back, and they need it. I feel certainly we would have had more come forward and say the same thing, except that, like Dr. Knight, a Washoe County coroner said, they've expired, or they would have been here too. But it killed them. We've had experts. The gentleman from Johns Hopkins did a paper on it. Maybe many papers on why it's fine. The leafy substance. He agrees with the derivatives could be scheduled, but he disagrees about the leafy substance. And we would have had many more experts come in and say this thing, but we're going to have just as many experts, which I've seen and read about, that say just the opposite. That say no, leafy substance has to be scheduled too, and here's why. They give just as many great reasons why it should be. The problem we have is that the leaf, you need that. You need the Kratom leaf in order to make the derivatives. So to just regulate the derivatives, that's not enough. This board, I don't want to. I could talk all day about this, but this board needs to just do what they're sworn to do, is to protect Nevadans. And if we don't schedule it, we're not doing our job. I wouldn't be able to go to bed at night and not feel guilty if there's just another death. There's recourse. If we schedule this board, keep in mind, board, if we schedule this and we're overruled by the courts or we're overruled by the legislature, we did our part. We did what we were sworn to do. We can't control what the courts are going to do or what the legislature might do. But we could control what we do. We could do our best to protect Nevadans. And we could put our heads on a pillow at night and sleep comfortably knowing that we did it. And if people die because the legislature or the courts overruled us, it's not on our conscience. It's not on my soul. It's not on your soul. We have to do what we were sworn to do here. This is a very, very important thing. And I do want to say that for those people that say the leafy substance is fine, you could take it. While they were saying that, I was thinking about my days when I was working with narcotics and law enforcement, about how it's like heroin, and that, yes, it helps you today, but then you need a little bit more tomorrow. And your body will take that and now needs a little bit more to tolerate it. And the proof was the young lady that came before us and said that she started out with 1 capsule, was wound up taking 100 capsules because your body just absorbed it. It's a dead end street. The leafy substance is a dead end street. So the proof of the pudding is all the death. And that's what we're here to prevent, the death. So that's my feeling. I feel like we have to do what's right for Nevadans. If we get overruled, we did our part. We did our best to protect them. We did what we were sworn to do.
I hope they're prepared for the deaths that follow.
How do y'all think they're going to vote after that from one of their fellow board members? I mean, that everything came out of his mouth was ridiculous. The sad thing is in all of this is there'll be more deaths from the people that went to the streets for their pain, in the streets for their addiction issues, and those numbers will never be counted. They probably won't even be known because they're just going to, another junkie died on the streets from got a hold of fentanyl. Well, I'm sure it was accidental. Especially if it was pain, somebody suffers from pain. But those.
And then what the other lady said, for a person in addiction, she might have said an addict, I don't know. 1 is never enough. That's not other people's fault, who a half could be enough for, or a quarter, or a whatever, or, it's always excessive. And then everybody has to pay the price for that excess.
Yeah, how about investing your time and money? Yeah, and how about investing your time, money, and energy into proper treatment for mental health and addiction issues?
Right.
Proper treatment for pain issues. You're not going to do that, but you're going to take away the one thing that does give these people hope.
Yeah.
And you're going to cause a lot of deaths.
But if you took 100 capsules, then that means everybody's going to, or, it's just because she took 100 capsules doesn't mean.
And yet here I am over 10 years. Yeah, here I am over 10 years in and still taking the exact same dose that I did
and
before.
7 years for me. I take the same amount. I had way more tolerance issues with my pharmaceuticals and pain management than I ever did with natural kratom that I do on my own. But to me, what he said.
And so,
go ahead.
100 capsules would be 50, right? Would be 50 milligrams. Grams, 50 grams. Right. So that was a high. Some people are fine with that, from what I understand. I always thought it was excessive, but maybe some people, but she's actually stating that was, way out there.
But everything that man said was mocking us. And it just really is ridiculous how he's mocking those that spoke out in favor of kratom.
And something I keyed on, he's counting himself as a Nevadan, and yet did you hear the Jersey accent?
I definitely heard an accent. Yeah, I definitely heard something.
Yeah.
Is the board member voted in? Do they get voted by the people? Like how is a pharmacy board? How do people get appointed?
Usually they're appointed.
Okay, so it's not like you could go do something about it.
No, well, you can
Put them on a power trip.
raise Cain with the governor. Raise Cain with the governor.
Wow. Well, let me play the end where they go vote, which isn't too long after the part we just watched. But, you know, after hearing his little speech, I mean, you can only imagine what they're all going to do. Like, you know, but here we go. This is short. It's literally like 30 seconds long.
Well, for the record, I would move that we adopt the proposed amended regulation and also give the board direction to capture any of the known derivatives of Kratom as well.
Okay, there's a motion by Ms. Jacobo. Was that a second by Mr. Porath?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so second by Mr. Porath. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
So that's it, which means it now goes. So now it goes to what, the House or the, like, where's it? Who brought it to the Pharmacy Board of Nevada? Where'd that come from? Like, where's it go now?
I would bet one of the anti-Kratom folks brought it. And the Board of Pharmacy has different rules for different states, so I'm not sure how Nevada is set up.
But did it
Rhode Island did it?
Did it already go through the House or Senate or anywhere in Nevada yet, or no?
Oftentimes, if a Board of Pharmacy bans a subject, that's it.
Like a separate
bans a substance, that's it. It enters into law. And that's why they were saying if the legislature overturns their ruling, like what happened with Rhode Island, or if the courts overturn their ruling. So now we have to get legislators invested in overturning the Board of Pharmacy's ruling, which is basically a repeat of Rhode Island.
Yeah. Well, and back to what we were saying earlier, if it's not Kratom that's being abused, the extracts, or 7-OH, well, let me show you what the new thing is. I'm just going to, we don't have time to play it all. Maybe next week we'll play it all, but I'm going to play the beginning of this video because here's what's now on the market, and we're probably going to hear a lot more about this. And I imagine several months or 6 months from now, we're going to be seeing, you know, less news stories about 7-OH and more about this new product. So watch this. And some of y'all, if y'all been a long time viewer of the Kratom Gals, you'll remember this guy. He pops up in our feed every so often. He's a funny guy, but he's pretty good at educating. So watch this.
The Kratom story in America evolves once again. We started with powdered Kratom, and then that wasn't enough, so we went to Kratom extracts, like Feel Free. But then that wasn't enough. And then we got pills like 7-hydroxymitragynine or 7-O pills. And I just got back from the gas station, and this might be the next step. Limit, and it says DHM 20 milligrams for research purposes only. Oh, yeah, that'll save your ass from getting sued. Now, honestly, when I saw this, it's $10. It's a single pill. It's around the same price as 7-OH. It says right here at the bottom, it contains 20 milligrams of mitragyna hirsuta and less than 400 parts per million of 7-hydroxymitragynine. So I have no idea what the fuck this is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to test it so you don't have to. And first, let me get some Narcan because I don't trust these motherfuckers. Where's my goddamn Narcan?
He's funny.
I got some downstairs I can get. Okay, so I just opened it. Let's check what this is. Smells fruity. We're going to start with a half, obviously. Oh, God. Very, wow. Super, super, super sweet. Tastes really good. Like a sweet tart. It's good. Okay. It is currently 9:41 p.m. I will report to you when I get the first effects. Okay, it is 10:01. So it has been exactly 20 minutes and I'm starting to feel it. This is literally 7-0. I mean, it might actually not be 7-0. It could, but it's basically, I'm getting the exact same feeling. I feel warm. I'm a little bit irritable. This is a stronger dose. I'm feeling it for sure. Yeah, there's the euphoria, the body feeling, the reduction in any aches and pains in my body. Very typical response. And I've done a little research and
let me stop for a moment. Do y'all want me to just go ahead and play? It's 11 minutes long. We're already several minutes in. Might as well. I think at this point,
Might as well finish it if I'm good. I'm okay
it's really good. I was amused, but he's funny, but he's very good at educational content, and I learned so much from watching this. So yeah, let's just keep going. Yeah, I figured at this point we might as well just keep going if y'all are good. All right, here we go.
This is a bit of a puzzle. Okay, so apparently Mitragynna hirsuta is actually, it's a plant. That's a binomial nomenclature, it's a fancy science name for another plant in the Mitragynna family. Mitragynna speciosa is what we call kratom. That's the binomial nomenclature or fancy name, okay? The first name Mitragynna is the genus name, and that just tells us kind of the general group of plants. And then speciosa is the specific species of the kratom. So Mitragynna hirsuta is actually another species in the Mitragynna family, Mitragynna genus. So in the Mitragynna genus, there is Mitragynna speciosa, kratom. There's Mitragynna diversifolia. There's Mitragynna hirsuta. There's Mitragynna rotundifolia. Now, the problem that I'm having through the studies that I'm looking at is that I actually haven't found any concrete evidence of how much mitragynine or 7-0 is in these other species of Mitragynna. This sketchy ass kratom store that sells kratom claims that one of the species, Mitragynna javanica, from Southeast Asia, it's from Indonesia. It says the alkaloid content of javanica consists mainly of mitrahyvanine, isomitrahyvanine, and mitrahyvin. Unlike kratom, it does not contain mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine. But I looked up the name of those chemicals and I could find no evidence that they exist. Okay, it's been 35 minutes and this is a fucking strong dose. This feels closer to 15 milligrams of 7-0. Like I'm getting real irritable right now. But now we have a puzzle. What the fuck is in this? Because it's very clear. It says 7-hydroxymitragynine less than 400 ppm. Like they're very clear. Like this does not contain 7-0. So what the fuck is in this? What's this whole puzzle? So what I think is going on here is that with a lot of legislation around kratom, they name out specifically Mitragynna speciosa as kratom, right? And so I think what people are doing is that they are claiming that these other products are actually Mitragynna javanica or Mitragynna hirsuta as a way to kind of skirt around this legality. That probably is just ordinary Mitragynna speciosa, but no one's going to really do the DNA testing and like the samples to figure out if it's technically this species and blah, blah, blah. So I think a lot of places are just fucking lying. I think this is probably one of them. But they're also very clear that each tablet contains 20 milligrams of Mitragynna hirsuta and 0 milligrams of 7-hydroxymitragynine. They're very clear about that. So what's going on here? Are they just lying, or is there like a kind of trick? And I have a couple theories. So one, this tablet saying it's 20 milligrams of just Mitragynna hirsuta. I'm going to tell you right here and now, there is no chance that any part of the Mitragynna hirsuta plant is potent enough that only 20 milligrams put into here would get you this messed up. Now, are they just lying? Does this contain 7-hydroxymitragynine and they're just straight up lying? Potentially. What they could be doing is just kind of buying time where they're claiming it's DHM. It's a different species, so you guys can't sue us. That's 0 amount of 7-0, but in fact, it's just ordinary 7-0. Or it could be like something like pseudoindoxil, which feels pretty damn similar in my experience. The other theory I have is this actually also could be an even more complicated trick. So what they could be doing is claiming that it has no 7-0 and it actually doesn't, but they might have like a new chemical that we don't know about. Maybe like some research chemical, maybe it's MGM, right? Which is chemically very similar to 7-hydroxymitragynine. And so that way they can kind of skirt around. Okay, it's been 45 minutes. Christ almighty, I'm feeling it, man. Wow. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, Lord. After me doing some more research and thinking, here's what I for sure know and what is probably the case. So 1, this is almost definitely not Mitragynina hirsuta. Hirsuta. Why? Because how kratom importing works is, for America at least, it's illegal to import it into America. And so how it actually like technically works, and I know this from actually speaking to kratom importers, you don't actually get to even decide farm or location or like the vein or whatever. Like that's all bullshit. It's a lot of just random trees from different areas mushed together and kind of sent out, right? So there's not a chance in hell that this podunk company has access to a specific species from this one region. That's almost definitely not what's happening. Could be wrong. You never know. There's tons of shit I don't know. So maybe, but probably not. Now, what do I think is chemically in here? I think it is probably 7-0, and they're just lying. The second option is that it's another chemical similar to 7-0, like pseudoindoxyl or it's MGM-15. And that way, when, some legal agency takes their shit and tests it, it technically won't be 7-0H. And so maybe they'll avoid being sued and sent to jail. And then the third option is it could be some like completely like left field shit, ODSMT or some random other shit. And this is all just I think that's less likely, but it's always a potential. Never trust companies like this, ever. Oh my God, it's like 4 hours later, but I think I actually might have figured out what's in it. I think it actually is MGM-15, which this is exciting. It's kind of sad, but exciting. So why do I think it's MGM-15? Well, if you look at the full chemical name of MGM-15, dihydro-7-hydroxymitragynine, aka DHM, dihydro-7-hydroxymitragynine. I think I just found my first actual MGM-15 on the street, as I predicted in my Kratom video. Once they ban 7-OH, that's no problem because MGM-15, a new molecule that has a similar effect, is going to come and take its place. Okay, that's exciting. It's happening. And what does it feel like? Very, very similar to 7-0. I wouldn't have told the difference. It felt stronger, and I was pretty nauseated, but it's pretty indistinguishable from that one experience. So assuming that that was MGM-15, here's what I want to say. One, I think this is just the beginning. I think it'll just become more common around America and around the world. It's just another way for companies to make literally millions of dollars selling a opioid, an atypical opioid, but an opioid to people, and getting around laws banning kratom because MGM-15 is not kratom at all. Generally, I would stay away from this stuff, please, because it's brand new. We don't know really anything about it. It's funny. I thought it would be advertised as MGM-15, but it seems like maybe DHM is going to be the way that you'll pick it out at a smoke shop. Probably just adding a little bit, another layer of confusion for legislators to be slow to catch it because they know that it will be banned eventually, but they're just trying to make their quick millions before it does. That's kind of how these smoke shop drugs shit works. It's just, they know it's going to get banned, so just make your millions and then get out. So to finish this video up, to kind of impart you with some knowledge, how the whole smoke industry works, like smoke shop industry and these random drugs that pop up, never trust the labeling on any of it. This stuff, I don't trust anything that it says. Like this royal honey syrup, if you look at the ingredients, it's just honey and L-arginine and ginkgo biloba extract. Nope, that's bullshit. It's just Viagra or a research chemical that is very similar to Viagra. All those magic mushroom bars and gummies and chocolates and pills that you see that say, oh my God, it contains reishi or a nootropic blend of all natural. Blah, blah, blah. It's either just straight up magic mushrooms, psilocybin inside of those, or a chemical that it feels very similar, like 4-ACO-DMT. I've seen some products that contain phenibut, which is another gray market, basically illegal, but not anti-anxiety like Russian drug. I have a whole video on my Patreon if you want to see it. I know a smoke shop that used to sell just straight up LSD tabs, but in nice, like professional packaging. Said it was like all natural, blah, blah, blah. But I asked the owner and he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just LSD. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. The industry's crazy. Jesus.
Okay.
And
Wow.
the industry wouldn't be crazy if people weren't financing it
Right.
and
Right.
looking for a high.
Man. Some crazy stuff. He's comical, but he's so good at researching, and he's not afraid to try all these different products. But interesting how he's comparing it to 7-OH, and even at one point saying it felt stronger. And that's scary. Like, let's go from natural kratom extracts to 7-OH. Every time it's like, I mean, I don't. Anybody that says they're high off of powder, I don't get it, because it doesn't make me high at all. I don't, extracts don't really help me, so I don't take those. I can definitely understand how an extracted or concentrated product is stronger and could get people high, especially those taking it in large doses. But
don't go to a smoke shop or a corner store or a gas station,
right.
buy it and take the whole tablet ever.
Right.
Just don't. Because he only took half of that. And he was like that.
Yeah.
So that was a 20. He took 10 and he was like that. Or no, did he take less than that?
He said he took a half of whatever it was.
That's what I thought. Right. So don't, I mean, help yourselves. Don't.
Yeah. Interesting how he predicted that in that video 8 months ago. And because I remember him saying that in that video. I think we even played some of that video here, but.
Well, and that goes back to, people need to start paying attention when they hear research chemicals. That was a huge issue back in 2014, 2015, 2016. It kind of went underground.
Yeah.
But it's never gone away. And if you're taking something you don't know what it is, that's a problem, because not only could it have the known additives, it could have unknown additives that are just as deadly and dangerous.
You have no clue. Yep.
Yeah.
Use reputable vendors that test their products, have COAs on file. This is a product we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah.
Use your heads and get safe, reputable kratom. Quit playing with the stupid stuff.
Venus said the one that she got at Champs was cut in 8s. But Venus, wasn't it that type of product? Pretty sure she had said that it was a
yeah, they said it was DSM.
DHM.
Or MS.
DHM. And that video of his has been out for 2 days and it's already at 40,000 views. He's real popular. His videos get lots of views. He did a big kratom one a while back, and I know we've played it here. He's done quite a few deep dives into kratom, and he had Soren Shade on an episode a while back, which was real interesting. They were funny. He's like, I don't remember what he was taking, but he said, I don't even know if they took anything. He just says, let's try Narcan. I want to see what Narcan does. And they both did it. They're sitting on his couch. I'm like, okay, let's take Narcan. It was funny. But he always has sorry, I didn't mean to say that while you were drinking your water. I've learned a lot from him with it. Now, when we first saw his first video a couple of years ago, it was like wacky. We played it on the Kratom Gals and made fun of him because it was over. He's definitely matured, even though he's pretty young. It was so over the top about Kratom that he made, and we were all put off by it. I like him now. I like he's more informational, and he just throws the humor in without it being overly done like the way he used to. But yeah, that's what we have for today. We covered a lot in our 2 hours and 13 minutes. Yeah. So it's good to see everybody today. And Becca wasn't able to join us. I hope she's feeling better. And Venus was having technical issues, so that's why she's just been in the chat hanging out with us. And then Amanda had to leave early, so it was good having her here for a while. And great having you ladies here. Always a great discussion.
Good being here. Always good being
Thank
here.
you. Great being here. And thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And for anybody that's newer to our channel here, we just like to hang out and have a discussion and watch these videos. Some are just media, some are viral videos, and just share our thoughts as Kratom consumers. We're not attached to any advocacy group or lobbying group. It's just, we like to just come together. This has been a casual hangout Saturday afternoon chat we've done for 2.5 years. And, I love that we can come together and just have these types of discussions and hear different voices. And that's exactly why I put it in this format, because it's nice hearing opinions from others. It doesn't matter who consumes what. It's let's watch a video and discuss it, or let's talk about the latest hearings we're hearing about, or whatever. And just hearing different opinions from people and having a space where people feel comfortable, when
Well, it's wonderful that you have made a space for BAE.
Yeah, is that a squeak? What is that? Is that a squeak toy for your dog?
Yeah, I keep trying to mute him.
It's okay. I was like, "Ooh, he's got a squeak toy." Yeah, my dog is very quiet, so I'm really lucky. She's like sleeping somewhere, being very quiet at the moment. But yeah, I like that we can just have voices and let everybody be heard and have, civil discussions. And that's what it's all about. So there's other shows for people that want to get hyped up and point fingers and do other things. But I love our casual, laid back show, and it will always stay in this format. So thank you all so much for spending time with us today. Thank you to our viewers that have been here. I know we get a lot of people watching our replay, so we appreciate everybody that's taken the time to watch at a later time, because the day and time doesn't always work for everyone. We're always here on Saturday afternoon, but it's what works for everyone else. But it's good to see you all. I'll wrap up with I wonder what song should I play. We need more Kratom songs available. I think that's the bottom line. Here, let's play a song we haven't played in a while. Why don't we do? We'll play Kratom Saves Lives. This is a good song. I haven't played this one in a while, so we'll close out with Kratom Saves Lives, because it does. We can all attest to that. And we'll be back here next Saturday to hang out with y'all again. And be sure to join us over at Kratom Real Talk. That's our private community. No censorship. We run into a lot of censorship issues on social media. It's one place where there is zero censorship. We get the control, the power of the people, the consumers. So come join us over there. It's free to join. We're always having so much happening there. It's great for people that are new, that are learning about Kratom, but it's also great for the rest of us that have been consuming for years, because it's a place to be a part of with others. That we're all on our Kratom journey. We're all doing it together there. And Venus does a tremendous job helping me with hosting regular chats like this, very casual, kind of like a Zoom call. We do it on Thursday and Sunday afternoons. So I know, Robin, you keep having technical difficulties coming in on we've really missed you over there. Are you still having?
I know. Every time I try to come in, it's giving me a hard time. So hopefully I'll get them sorted out.
Yeah. What kind of phone do you have?
Samsung, but I don't have internet at home. I just have the data. So there's times it just says, I don't like this one.
Yeah, because they do have the mobile app. They have it for Android and for iOS. But even sometimes when I've done it on the mobile app, it sometimes acts up.
Yeah.
But would love to have you join if you can. But also, I just do it.
I definitely plan on being there tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Awesome.
As long as the cellular gods are with me.
There you go. Well, I hope it works out for you. And thank you all both for spending. Twinkle, you're just all dolled up today. You look adorable.
She does look absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And you just look so happy. I love it. Love seeing you smiling so much. All right, y'all, let's get some music going. We'll see y'all back here next Saturday. Have a great rest of your day.
Jake was lost, drowning deep in a haze of pills that stole his sleep. The pain was real, but the fight was tough. Prescription bottles were never enough. One day he heard a whisper clear of a leaf that could pull him near. He took the chance, he changed the tide. Now he feels the strength inside. Oh, Kratom saves lives, it gives you hope. When you're sinking, it's the road. From the darkness to the light, Kratom helps you win the fight. Sarah was caught, trapped in the pour, a bottle in hand, but needing more. The nights were long, her hope ran dry until she found a way to fly. She took a sip, not of booze, but a brew that helped her choose. With Kratom's help, she broke the chain. Now she's free from all that pain. Oh, Kratom saves lives, it gives you hope. When you're sinking, it's the road. From the darkness to the light, Kratom helps you win the fight. Tom had needles in his veins, chasing highs that brought more pain. Opiates held him tight in chains, but Kratom came and broke the reins. He found the leaf, he found the way. Now his world's no longer gray. Step by step he took control. Kratom helped him heal his soul. Oh, Kratom saves lives, it gives you hope. When you're sinking, it's the rope. From the darkness to the light, Kratom helps you win the fight. One by one they found the key. Kratom's gift, it set them free. From pain to peace, from dark to light, Kratom helps you fight the fight. Oh, Kratom saves lives, it gives you hope. When you're sinking, it's the road. From the darkness to the light, Kratom helps you win the fight. One by one, they found the key. Kratom's gift to set them free. From pain to peace, from dark to